My name is Clara Sommers, and at 29 years old, I thought I had a good grip on my life. I lived in Riverside City, a place filled with sunshine, palm trees, and the vibrant energy of people searching for connection. I am of mixed Filipino heritage, and I often felt like I was navigating two worlds. I enjoyed cooking the traditional dishes my grandmother taught me, while also embracing new cuisine with my friends. However, despite the warmth of my surroundings, I felt lonely, yearning for a connection that seemed just out of reach. I decided to try my luck on a dating app called Badu. It was there I matched with a girl I will call Jay. She was charming and witty, and our conversations flowed naturally. My heart, once tightly closed, began to open just a fraction. I was searching for someone like me, perhaps a partner who understood my unique background. As we spent hours chatting about our favorite things, movies, dreams for the future, and our families, I slowly fell for her. Jay claimed she was a nursing student, pouring out tales of late-night study sessions and stressful exams. Every "I miss you" and "you are amazing" felt like it was meant just for me. I believed in the connection we had, and it felt so real that it distracted me from the small voices in my head that whispered doubts. I ignored the little signs that something felt off. Maybe it was the way she would often excuse herself when it came to voice or video calls, or the fact that she always seemed to be busy, whether with school or family obligations. But each time I pushed for more, she had a reason, a story just plausible enough to quell my suspicions. As far as I could tell, I was in a blissful relationship, and my growing feelings blinded me to the cracks. In October, when we first matched, I casually sent Jay a few gifts here and there, small tokens of my affection. When holidays rolled around, I found myself wanting to support her more. After all, she was a university student managing a heavy workload. Little did I know, those cash transfers that totaled around $768 would become the strings that wrapped around my heart and eventually pulled me into a dark, tangled trap. It was February when the world as I knew it began to shatter. A sense of unease had been creeping in for weeks. My persistent need for assurance had led me to investigate her social media accounts further, peeling back the layers of her digital presence. That was when I found her boyfriend. The heart-wrenching realization hit me like a freight train. I had been lied to. I confronted Jay, and after days of silence, she confessed. I had not been speaking with Jay at all. Instead, I had fallen into a scheme orchestrated by her mother, who had been masquerading as her daughter. The revelation twisted in my gut. Each sweet message I had cherished was tainted with deception. Jay was playing her part too, sending her mother videos and photos of herself designed to keep the ruse alive. All of my feelings, all of my dreams of love and connection, had been manipulated into a cruel joke. I felt hollow, like a shell of the person I was just weeks before. I tried to piece together how the mother-daughter duo could do this to someone so innocent and earnest as myself. I had poured my trust into a broken cup, watching my affections spill away. It was not just about the money, it was everything I had shared, the moments that felt so personal. As the truth unfurled, my heart was caught between despair and rage. I began to hatch a plan of my own. I refused to simply fade away as the victim of their scheme. I would expose them to everyone. I felt an unsettling determination build within me. With newfound purpose, I pieced together the evidence I had, scouring through chat histories and images to find anything that could help me in my quest for revenge. The anger bubbling at the surface began to fuel my every thought. By March, I had gathered enough information to unveil their lies. I posted everything on Facebook, exposing the names, addresses, and even the name of the school Jay pretended to attend. I shared screenshots of our chats, photos of Jay thanking me for the gifts, and clips that revealed the depth of my feelings. I made sure to share it in groups that targeted her hometown, knowing the ripple effect would be devastating. As I watched the likes and comments flood in, I felt a liberated exhilaration wash over me. This was the reckoning I had been waiting for. Jay's mother and Jay were fine participants in the charade, and now they would face the consequences. The comments began to pour in, with people expressing their outrage, disbelief, and horror at what I had been through. I watched from the shadows as news of my exposé reached far and wide, drawing more attention than I ever expected. Jay's life, once painted with the sweet colors of deceit, was reduced to a desperate black-and-white outline of shame. Then, like a movie plot twist, I received a message from Jay's former friend, whom I will call M. She surfed the waves of gossip, ready to share what she knew about Jay. The tales twisted and turned, rumors of intimate nights with a former mayor and associations with wealthy sugar daddies spilled out. I knew M wanted dirt to use against Jay, but I had my aim focused. I persuaded her to share my post across more Facebook groups. Driven by spite and the thrill of the chase, M became my ally in unexpected ways, sharing the scandalous details over 600 times. And as fate would have it, the video of Jay reached 16,000 views, solidifying that everyone back home would know Jay for who she truly was. From my window, I watched the chaos unfold. Jay found herself at the center of a storm she hadn't prepared for. Friendships ruptured, rumors blossomed, and her world began to implode. I felt a sense of justice unfurl in my heart as their roles shifted, from executioner to victim, just as I had felt. As the saga continued, I made sure to delicately feed rumors between Jay and M, allowing them to tear into each other publicly. With thorough attention, I reveled in the fallout, witnessing as Jay's carefully constructed facade crumbled. Days turned into weeks, and I could see how this explosive revelation affected Jay's life. Allegedly, she was expelled from her school, and I believed it was because she attracted unwanted attention from my exposé. Her social media presence suffered, and I imagined the conversations that happened in hushed tones as friends whispered behind closed doors. While I had poured my soul into a relationship built on trust, Jay and her mother created a world of falsehood that became their downfall. Each whisper of her name must have invoked a shudder. This was a revenge that might burn for a long time. As I laid awake at night, I often wondered if my actions had been worth it. Part of me wanted to feel guilty, but the anger swirled too powerfully, blocking any compassion. I watched from a distance as Jay and M went head-to-head online, their rivalry unfolding in public for the world to see. I delighted in their quarrels, mentally cheering the implosion of Jay's world. As time passed, I could not shake the whisper in my heart, however. Was I entirely just in my actions? I had transformed into what I feared most, vengeful like my enemies. Life in Riverside City resumed its rhythm, but I felt changed. I walked past the same coffee shop where I hoped to meet Jay, lingering at the memories we built. The city felt different, the streets less inviting. The thrill of my revenge subsided with the tick of time, but I could hear the laughter of my friends encouraging me to let it go. The sensation of victory dulled, nudging at an unfamiliar sensation to move forward. However, on an ordinary afternoon, I received an unexpected message from Jay herself. For a moment, my heart pounded. What could she possibly want from me? Curiosity got the better of me, and I opened the account with anxiety swirling in my chest. Jay was reaching out not for forgiveness, but for understanding. She told me of the fallout that ensued from my exposé, of losing relationships and facing her family's retreat. Their names echoed, but something about her plea struck a chord. Was she truly regretful? Or was this another act? I allowed myself to be enveloped by her words, creating a tension that momentarily quelled the longing I had rather ravaged. I enjoyed the thought of closing this chapter, while knowing I would forever keep a piece of that revenge clenched tightly in my heart. And just like that, a quiet understanding settled, twisting the sharp edges of my vengeance into tender threads of empathy. Despite all the hurt, Jay and I were trapped in a dance of emotion and twisted fate. She couldn't redeem herself in my eyes or the eyes of those she wronged, but chaos taught me that life spiraled through intricate webs. As I unwrapped that final message, it caused me to reconsider who I had become. Our sins, woven deeply into the tapestry of love and betrayal, formed a pattern that might be dismissed but never forgotten. In the end, I had exacted my revenge, but I was left pondering what truly mattered. Unlike the fleeting joy of retribution, the lessons we learned echoed deeper, cementing my place in the world around me. Riverside City was not just a backdrop to my journey, it was a living testament that life moves forward, and I must do so too. Jay may have been left shattered, but in my heart, I realized it was time to rebuild from the ashes of hurt and hope. I emerged from this story stronger, wiser, and equipped for the next chapter.